Everybody, it's me, Larry Young. It says so right there at the bottom of the screen. So it must be true. Another Dork Court, another 6 p.m. Pacific time, another Dr. John E. Price having other responsibilities. So it's me today. Good thing I've geared up in my captain stuff in the Exeter. I'm feeling full Star Trek. I'm feeling a little weird, actually, talking to myself in my house. But the cats are here. So I'll just deputize them into my crew. They're from the planet Take a Crap and Walk Through It. That's how it's pronounced in English. I don't know. I don't know what it means in their language. You're probably taking a crap and walking through it because they're cats. Anyway, today there's a big thing rippling through the Star Trek community, but I'm going to talk about other stuff first. I don't know. Let me check that comment, see if anybody's here. Nope, nobody's here. It's just me talking to myself. But hopefully, the cool thing about YouTube is that you know you can watch it whenever you want. It's not really important for me to. Sorry, I got distracted because there's nothing here to take my attention except my own luscious face. Oh, Larry. Anyway, some stuff in Star Trek today. William Shatner says that Roddenberry would be rolling over in his grave if he saw the modern Star Trek. And I'm like, I think if John was here, we could probably get a whole hour out of that. But since it's just me, I think no shit, Bill. Like anybody who likes the original series doesn't get modern Star Trek, except for, the good ones. When I say it's really funny. I was getting into some kind of internet kerfluffle with some guy who was like talking about something. I don't know. Let's call it storytelling, right? That means a very specific thing to actual storytellers, but it to the rest of the world, it's just some kind of buzzword that people come up with. I love Mike Manley, super well known anchor and artist. He did Draw Magazine. I mean, he's all around guy. He talks about process, and I'm sure I probably got this from him. It's just such a theme in his stuff that like, except he does it in a really sly way. He'll go, "Yeah, storytelling's probably the most misunderstood, misused word in comics." And I'm like, I think that's a really political way of saying that because if you think, no matter what you think storytelling is, you can agree it's probably the most misused because you run into a lot of other people who have a different idea of what it is. Anyway, I got in it with somebody, and man, here's the bad thing about being me. I just totally lost my train of thought. Talking about Shatner saying Roddenberry is turning over in his grave. It's like I say modern Star Trek to delineate it differently from old Star Trek. Kind of like split on the old cast, new cast kind of stuff, I guess. I don't know. Even I use it sort of in this nebulous way, and it's more difficult now because Lower Decks and Strange New World is just fucking killer. That's just I'm a really old school Star Trek fan, and I have no problem with Lower Decks because so's Mike McMahon, and every decision that is made is from the point of view of like what an old Star Trek fan wants to see. So Lower Decks is great, and I really am fond of Strange New Worlds. I know Price doesn't like it, so we need to represent his point of view here. But like I don't know what he's talking about. That's as close to how you're going to get to old Star Trek now. It really it's not that Captain Pike's the guy and it's kind of hamstrung from being in the Discovery universe. It's none of that. It's just that this is the kind of thing you would expect to get in 2024 from Star Trek, right? You open up a can of Pepsi, Chris Sagasag, and you drink the Pepsi, and it tastes like Pepsi, and that's great because in the old days they would say it does what it says on the tin, right? It says Pepsi on it. There's Pepsi inside. I drink it. It's Pepsi. Yes, that's just the bare minimum of how things should go. And anything that says Star Trek on it today, you don't have that. I'll give it to the first JJ movie, but not the subsequent ones. I love his cast. That's all what you expect out of Star Trek now. But the rest of the adventures weren't. It was very clear they were trying to turn it into Star Wars. Like my Star Wars thing? I think we talked about this last time, and I put it up again for. We definitely talked about it on Dork Court. All the dork in my life, I need to figure out. Was it Dork Trek? No, I'm on Dork Trek now. I talked about it on Dork Court with Steve about what that is. It's a digital picture display, the thing you give to the grandparents, and they stick it in Velcro to the wall, and the grandkids' pictures kind of fade in and out with out of their control. It's one of those, except handles on it to give it a little visual interest. And those things play AVI files, so you just get some cool Star Wars animations off of Etsy, and just plug it into the USB and do the magic stuff that they teach the kids in school now. Not cursive, but that. So I'm an old man. I try to run around. I go out for a trot every once in a while. Good old Rick Austin, you guys are familiar with. He when I started my moving around program a few years ago, I said I was doing the Couch to 5K app, and good old Rick was like, "Hey, right on, get on, good job getting off your ass. I'll come out for a trot when you hit it." And I thought that was really nice. And ever since he said that, whenever I go for a jog or a brisk walk or a sprint to the bathroom in a crowded stadium, I just call it a trot. Out for a trot. I was thinking about that one day if I should change it up, and then the only other one that was significant to me was lope. I'm out for a lope, but then it kind of sounds too much like elope or some kind of jackalope animal. It definitely sounds like you're being like people will act like you're being misheard. Like what? Even if they hear you correctly, what? Nobody talks like that, Larry. So keep it to a trot. Be funny. Say trot. Anyway, here he is. Good old Johnny Price. How's it going, man?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
It's fantastic over here at in Dork Court. We're really glad to see you. You see my?
It's very dark. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little dark.
It's I was just talking about it. It's one of those digital frames where you can put the pictures of the grandchildren on.
Yeah.
We found out they play AVIs. So there's a guy on Etsy who has Star Wars, readouts, digital animations. He gives you like 5 for like $15.
Dude, that's awesome.
It really is. It really is. Awesome. I leave that on all day. Kind of like weird clicking sounds.
That's awesome. Cool.
Anyway,
very.
How was your trip, man? Off to.
It was good. Yeah, man. I got to write up a after action report. It was good. It was good. I went to the land of Montgomery Scott, and I didn't die, so it was good. all in all, a good time.
I guess you could say that whenever you leave your house, right? What'd you do, honey? Did you have a nice day? And I'm like, I didn't die.
Didn't die.
Like, all right. Everything after that, I guess, is dealable. Absolutely.
It's all gravy,
Yeah.
Yeah, man. We went for a wedding, and the weather was cold and rainy for every day except the wedding day.
That is crazy.
It was nice and sunny and a little less cold, so it was good.
So Scotland cooperated.
Yeah, Scotland did all right.
Here you go. We already have this weather, about that. Yeah. Have a nice day. Just married.
Yeah, I went to a couple castles, saw some cool stuff. Yeah, it's about it.
The castle
Anyone else
thing.
been to Scotland?
Not me.
No. Okay.
England, not
Right.
Scotland.
Well, then
I would
fuck you,
love
man.
to go to the land of Scotch, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure the wife would pay for that ticket.
Every time I would order a scotch, they would look at me and be like, "What?" And then
What?
I'd point at it, and they'd be like, "Oh, you mean?" And then they would correctly pronounce it. So, and I'm like, yes.
I would imagine all that side of the British Isles there is impossible to understand to an
There
American.
were most like in Edinburgh, pretty much it's like a normal talk, right? But like there was a couple people where it was real tough to understand. Like I'm pretty
Yes,
sure this lady asked if we had a reservation, and I have no idea like the words she said to me. I'm like I couldn't reproduce the sounds that this
that's
person made.
that's the thing. I don't. Yeah, I like to play around with funny voices and stuff, but I don't think I have a Scottish accent because
Well, I
I would
kind of
just be
I've been
Scotty, which is like some kind of weird ass Canadian thing.
well, I've been thinking about it. Like the Irish, it's much more like sing-songy, right? It's the stereotypical like, ah, here we go, laddie, you know. The Scottish, it's much
It
more
didn't have to be. You just made it weird. I'm sorry for my racist friend.
no, it's just, they have an
Of
accent, you
course.
know.
Oh, I know what you mean. You're going up and down like that then.
Right.
Colin Farrell in every
But the
movie he's ever been in.
Scottish, they don't they have the same exact accent except without the sing-songy part. And they're very
Hmm.
fast. They speak very fast. It's like,
Huh.
oh, you're Asian. I'm like, what? What did you say?
Right. I'm
Like,
not sure if I
you
have
like the
any
merch? I'm
heroes.
like, okay, all right. I
I
think
do
you said
enjoy
grunt,
plastic straws.
you know? So yeah.
So that wasn't your wedding. You've been married to the science
Now,
officer for a year and a bit, haven't you?
yeah, our wedding was in the Outer Banks in North Carolina, and it was amazing. It was literally the best day in terms of weather. Like it was incredible. We got married on the beach, and it was awesome. So
And
all of your weddings are just second to mine at this point.
you
So
know that your friend Larry has access to your Facebook page, and I'm pretty
mm,
sure everybody else, and we're all big fans of Dr. John Price. So I have clear memories of those wedding photos
yeah,
that you posted
yeah,
because I too thought, wow, this is the best wedding I've ever seen.
yeah.
Possibly even the nicest weather. I can't tell because its pictures could be
No,
doctored by other
it was
AI.
incredible. Yeah, no, the weather was,
I'm
and it
teasing.
was
That was great pics, man.
well, and it was like literally the last nice day because it was end of October in Outer Banks, which if you don't know anything about the East Coast, that's when it gets shitty. Like end of
Cold,
October
definitely.
is when it gets shitty, and literally
Yeah.
it was the last nice day, and it was like fucking 80 degrees, and it was just sunny. It was fucking perfect. Anyway,
Anyway,
so yeah.
yeah, that's cool. You didn't miss much of me vamping. I kind of just did my impression of Nancy Sen being funny on stage.
Oh yeah,
And
she's good.
no, it wasn't an impression, bro. I meant more in like, wow, I'm talking to myself kind of style. I got a little self conscious for a second because there's nothing going on in my house, right?
Yeah,
But then I was like, oh, what would good old Nancy Sen do? She's just pacing back and forth. And then I was like, wow, why stop there? I'll just Bill Burr it. And so I started talking about dumb shit about my cats. But
that's
so
good.
you missed nothing except I started to talk about. Do you hear what old Billy Shat said today? This is
No,
the big Star Trek news. I know
the boy.
you have a job and a wife who loves you and lots of shit
Yeah.
going on. And I don't
I
know if
wish I
you
could sit on Twitter all day. That'd be awesome.
it's oh my god, it's worse than just like some random thing on Twitter. Bill has an interview with the AV Club, and the
Okay.
entire article is a version of him going, Gene Roddenberry spin in his grave if you saw what they're doing with modern Star Trek. That's the
I
headline
mean,
of the that's the headline of the article.
I mean,
So the
he's
rest of
right.
it, you should look it up because when you have some time, because it's
Yeah.
hilarious. Because in the middle of it, they do this call out of a big long screed of his, but in the middle of it, he says something like, yeah, you can't kiss the lady soldier. Like
What?
that's the kind. Well, he's saying Gene was like a police officer, a military guy. And
Right.
there are rules, and you have to do stuff within the rules. But then we get it. You have to make it dramatic because it's TV, right? And Bill was making the point that they just do with all their diversity crap that
Mhm.
the Gene would lose it because that's not Starfleet, right? That
Yeah,
and the end of it was you can't kiss the lady
I
soldier.
love it. That's fantastic. That's such a William Shatner quote.
I know it was great, and that was just like one bit of a long article. So
Yeah.
AV Club, I really urge you to check it out.
Well, one thing is we did miss GalaxyCon was back in my area of the
Oh,
world this weekend, but we couldn't go because we were in Scotland. And they had a screening of, I guess, Shatner has some new movie coming out. So they did a screening of it downtown, and that would have been cool to see that. But we
yeah.
weren't in Scotland, so I didn't get to see it.
What's that flight like from Scotland? 12,
Awful.
14 hours? Yeah, no, I
It's
imagine.
7 hours to Dublin, and then another hour in the air to Edinburgh.
All
So
right, East Coast. Yeah, okay. That makes
yeah,
sense. Because I'm like,
yeah.
that's got to be 12, 14 hours.
Oh
And
yeah, no, from the West
it
Coast,
would
I don't
be
even
for
know that
me.
math. Yeah, that'd be awful. And
I'm
then
thinking
of
about,
course it's longer on the way back because you're going against the jet stream.
right, you're chasing the earth or whatever.
So that's yeah, you definitely feel that last hour. You're like, okay, are we done yet? Okay,
I am
got it.
quite positive that the first guy who flew to New Zealand came back and was like, "This place is fucking awesome," because all he had to do to keep it to himself was like, "Oh yeah, I mean, it was there. It's a couple
Right,
islands, not that cool." And then
right.
no one would make a 14-hour flight if
No,
that guy
yeah,
was lying or not.
yeah.
So anyway, that's how I feel about long plane flights. Fuck
They're
that.
pretty awful.
Take all the
Um,
drugs. Wake me up when I get there.
yeah, no, they're pretty terrible.
Yeah.
And I'm, a Sasquatch, so I have to get like the bigger extended
Oh,
leg
dude,
room,
I
you
keep
know.
forgetting about that.
So like the leg room's fine, but even that, it's just like, okay, are we done yet?
But
Are we done
yeah,
with
but I
this?
mean, your legs are. I mean, your knees are hitting that chair in front of you.
Oh yeah, on the flight to out of Dublin, so going from Dublin to Scotland, we actually had pretty good seats. We were in the second row, but it's a small like turboprop like plane,
Uh
like
oh.
fucking World War II plane.
Yeah, I'd be
Um
like, I know how
and
this
uh
movie ends.
so first class is ahead of us, right? It's just row one. We were in row
Right.
two.
Yeah,
But
they
I
get
mean,
out
it's
first.
literally just like you get
Yeah.
on the plane first, you know.
Yeah.
And but they're not extended legs, so I'm like literally like trying to like pull my legs back
Bastard.
because the guy in front of us was saying how awful it was in French. So fuck you,
Oui.
Frenchie. Yeah, I was just like, sorry, bro, it's an hour.
Le
Deal with it.
concours. Le
You're lucky you
gris.
don't speak German. So
Oh, hey, speaking of that, so you've been traveling. You haven't finished Masters of the Air yet, have you?
no, we're like 3 or 4 behind at this point. Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna.
Can I
I
just
hope the Allies win. That would be
can I just
nice.
say some general thing?
Yeah,
It's
yeah, sure.
fucking great.
Good. That's good.
That's my.
That's good.
It's completely satisfying from beginning to end.
Good.
There's
That's
stuff
good.
that I loved and stuff I didn't care for, but that was World War II, I guess, because
There
that
was
was
some,
great.
yeah. There's been some stuff in the last couple episodes that I did see. I don't even remember details anymore,
Yeah.
but that was just like, okay, all right. So I'm ready to be one back.
The
So
cool thing is,
good.
man, those special effects are top shelf.
They are, yeah,
I
they
have.
are,
It's not like I'm watching it on my phone. I got a big ass 80-inch
yeah,
TV, and I say kind of close because I'm an idiot for that kind of stuff.
yeah,
And it's theatrical, man.
yeah.
But better because my idea of theatrical, you see the reflecting from the screen and the film grain and shit.
Uh-huh.
And this is just like a giant window of awesome that I just get to sit there and go, oh wait a minute, I got to take a pee and come back and get some food.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm my window of awesome open. Thank you. Ugh,
Yeah, the even though I mean that was the takeaway from the first couple episodes. Like, holy crap, dude, the special effects are awesome. Um, so yeah, good. I'm glad.
yeah.
Uh,
So you'll enjoy that. Here's another
yeah,
question I have for you. When Walker discovered Last Kingdom, and
yeah,
I was going all nuts about this fucking great show, and you're
Uhtred,
like,
son of
hey,
Uhtred. Yeah,
yeah, you're like, oh yeah, nice, welcome to the party, son of whoever, yeah. Anyway, now we're into this other show, and I'm like, if you tell me you watched this show 3 years ago and didn't talk about it, I'm gonna lose my mind because it's gonna be Uhtred, son of Uhtred. This is Jason Momoa show called Frontier. Have you heard
I
about it?
I do know that show. I did
Okay.
not watch that show, but
Okay. All right.
I remember seeing that show. Yeah,
All right. You're off the hook then. If
yeah,
you're missing Black Sails, just fucking watch that. It's literally the
yeah.
same show. It's just instead of piracy, it's fur trapping in Upper Canada.
I was gonna say, isn't he like a frontiersman or something?
Yeah, it's the
Like a woods
same
guy?
fucking
Yeah,
show though.
yeah,
It's insane how like all that stuff I missed in Black Sails. I'm like, well, I'll just make this little adjustment, and okay, this hooker's not a black girl. This hooker's an Irish girl.
right.
It just lines up, and but it's like you get to watch it again with different intrigue. You know,
That's awesome.
they're the politics of Nassau are not the politics of Montreal, right?
That's funny.
So there's this. Oh, dude. Anyway, wow, I could do another hour on that, but that's not what
Yeah.
we're here for.
What are we here for?
I just, dude, just so I could talk to my friend John.
Aw,
I love your view of Star Trek, and I love when we disagree because it's like
what do we
it's
disagree on?
you hate Strange New Worlds.
Oh, that
I
okay. Yeah,
When you come in, I did about 4 minutes of babbling. I only forgot
yeah,
what I was saying twice, but I think I pulled it all together. And but the main point of it is I was trying to acknowledge your point of view that the modern I always say modern Star Trek to differentiate it from the old stuff
sure.
because I love that stuff and new stuff I don't. But it's getting so I love Lower Decks and I love Strange New World. So it's not so much modern Star Trek. I get to say I hate Discovery now. Somebody won't
Yeah.
call me a racist
Hmm.
because it's I don't know. But taking your point of view about how you don't like Strange New Worlds, I was kind of getting mad at myself. I was like, because you're right. You're not saying, "Oh, this is my preference." You're going, "Here's something that doesn't work for me," and it makes it add up to not like. I mean, that's what I get out of your thing. Maybe you're just
Sure.
talking about butterflies or whatever. But
I don't like
um,
butterflies either.
it was making me mad because I spelling out your argument made me realize that
Me
it
too.
is correct, right?
No,
Because I was
I
like,
mean,
well, now I kind of like this thing a little more than I mathematically should. Like John spelled it out.
one thing that might surprise people is I really like the JJ stuff. I don't like Into Darkness, obviously. That's like the worst movie ever made. But
Right.
like I love the world of the JJ movies.
Mhm.
Like I love the aesthetics, I love the uniform, I love the ships, I love the plots are awful, but that's just part of it.
Yeah, but
But yeah.
see, the way I come down on that is like Star Trek needs a plot more than other stuff does. You know
Well,
what I
right.
mean?
I'm just saying, like, if you give them a plot, like I
Right.
like Beyond. I like Star Trek Beyond. I think that's a good average Star Trek episode, right?
Eh.
I know you don't like it. I know you don't like it.
It's
But
just
like
there's too much
for
weird shit. If you pulled
sure,
out, gay Sulu and the motorcycles, yeah, you're right. That's a pretty good movie.
sure.
It's just
But like
it's just
I'm
glaring
just saying,
shit
like,
bugs me.
if you give them a Star Trek plot, the world is already there, right?
Yeah,
Versus
yeah, I got you.
Discovery, even if you gave them a Star Trek plot, they don't know what to do with it because
Yeah.
their world is just bullshit. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's you know what
And that's what
too
you like
it
Strange New Worlds for, because you give Strange New World has Star Trek plots and it works for you.
well, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm way more open to like whimsy and stupidity in my Star
Yeah.
Trek than most people are now. Like I remember, like one of my favorite things is the glowing green Apollo hand on the
Oh,
shower
it's
when I was a
fantastic.
kid, right?
Yeah,
And
it's
it's
fantastic.
ridiculous, but
You gotta
as
have
a kid,
fun.
right? So that's
See,
the thing.
people who are raised on like TNG and DS9, they don't realize that you have to have fun in Star Trek. Like, yes, there are deep philosophical things, blah blah blah. There is hard sci-fi. It's also a fun adventure show. And if you don't have fun adventure in there, you're fucked. Which is why most of DS9 is unwatchable because it's not fun adventure show.
I agree 100%.
Just saying, DS9. Anyway,
Not one of my faves either.
but
But
people love it. People love it because it gives them that that serious
well,
Star Trek. I don't know.
I'm not saying there's a correlation, but the whole thing about fans of the Empire, right?
Oh yeah,
I really think that the guys who like DS9 are like that.
yeah,
Like they
I agree.
really want shit evil and bleak, and it's like
Yeah,
that's cool 3 times a season, right?
yeah.
You can't do that in a show
Mhm.
and expect anybody to care,
Well, I
especially
mean,
doing it. Yeah, yeah.
no, I mean, case in point, DS9 has like 4 or 5 mirror episodes, and it's
Mhm.
like, no, the mirror universe works once, maybe once in season 3 of Star Trek, the original series. Like I mean, like, so I know it's season 1. Shut the fuck up.
Didn't
Uh,
say a word. I'm like, I've been married too long, man. I'm like, you don't argue that shit. No, keep going, honey. I got you.
um, no, but like DS9 went to the mirror universe like what? I think it's literally like 4 times.
Yeah,
And that right there tells you everything you need to know about. I mean, I like Iron Stephen Bear. I like how weird he is, and I like his storytelling. But like, they were going for a thing, and they succeeded in going for their thing. But if you're a fan of DS9 and nothing else, you are not a Star Trek fan.
yeah. Even their fix of like bringing Worf in, I was like,
Yeah,
this just feels totally wrong to me.
yeah,
And here's why I'm sort of bitter about Deep Space Nine because I'm in college, right? Actually, when it started in '87, I was still cutting granite. So I taped 4 episodes on a tape on VHS. No matter what the fuck I was doing or where I was, if Star Trek was new that week, I was taping
right.
it. To the point where I would like bring my VCR on vacation with me so I could do it, right?
Nice.
And
That's funny.
then I get Deep Space Nine starts. I'm like, well, I got to start taping that because that's new Star Trek, and then I just didn't like it. But now I feel like I'm stuck, right? So I keep taping that.
Oh,
I taped
jeez.
every fucking Deep Space Nine too, because I just
Sure.
comic book collectors have that completist gene.
Mm.
It's so,
I
but
got that.
Star
Yeah.
Trek got so bad, it broke me of that. I just one day I went, I'm not fucking taping these anymore. The only ones I watch are there was like 5 tapes out of Next Generation that I'd ever picked up again, like Darmok and
Yeah.
the good episodes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else, I'm like, why do I have this?
Yeah.
They weren't handwritten labels. I got Letraset, that cool Euro style type font. I got a Star Trek logo that I made off like one of the action figure things and
I love
designed a
it.
cool label.
I love
And
it.
then my dad died, and I had to go clean out my house, and I took all of them and threw it in a dumpster.
Oh, you could have
Look,
sold those on eBay.
who cares though?
No,
Just, anyway,
yeah,
they had all the commercials, so maybe some.
that would have been cool.
Yeah, but wow, it's been about what 16 years now, so I'm sure that
Mm.
stuff's not playable, even if you could dig it up.
That's like I like Voyager. I know everyone hates on Voyager, but I mean, is Voyager the greatest thing ever? No. Is it fun? Yes.
Yes,
I mean,
some
there's
of the
members.
stuff,
Yeah.
people have against Voyager is like stuff I really enjoyed. Like
Yeah.
people will like nitpick the, Harry Kim like died and he's
Right.
replaced by a duplicate. and nobody ever mentions it again. And I'm like,
It's hilarious.
you guys ever had a job? Like the advertising agency I worked at, if you had taken any of the other graphic designers and you told me that, oh, this is the guy from the next dimension over, I would never mention that. I wouldn't think of that again.
No,
Maybe at
it's
lunch,
hilarious.
I'd like look over sideline and go, all right. And
It's
then I would be, who cares? Right? That's still
well,
Harry Kim over there.
it's just
Anyway,
Harry Kim, you know. That's
had
why he doesn't get
troubles.
promoted. He's from the wrong timeline. Yeah, no, everybody hates on Threshold, you know, where he turns into a lizard. I
Yeah,
love
and they had
Threshold.
lizard
Tom
babies.
Paris trying to be like a test pilot. It's awesome. It's a great episode.
That one. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a perfect example of the ones people hate on. I was like, what's the matter with you people? Again, like Space Lincoln. That's the land I'm from.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, the green Apollo squeeze hand. Ooh, look, the Enterprise is a little trinket in a Halloween episode. It's apparently
Right, right.
controversial if it's Halloween or not. All of that is fucking ridiculous. In the old days, we would use another R word, but I've been told
My
not again.
favorite TOS thing is when they're like Spock will be like, it's incredible how similar this is to Earth. And just like that's your line. Like, here's why
Yeah,
this is Earth. That's it.
to the point. It's either Miri or Bread Circuses that they name it. It's like, oh, that's like the Hassline curve theory of parallel Earth.
Right. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and like so, like people at home are going, oh yeah, yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, I remember reading about that. And oh yeah, yeah, okay.
If any,
Or they
if
will
any,
take the Earth and just like flip it upside down or something,
yeah,
and like that's the shot, you know, of the Earth rotating. You know, it's my favorite. It's the best.
yeah. But that's what
Well,
happens. Anybody that would want to do that would be the director, and the director doesn't get special effects anymore. That's
oh
like
yeah,
somebody
that's true.
else's job because
It's
it's
pretty
all.
ridiculous.
It's just like how many starships do you need, and are you paying for the overtime to make different ones, or can we just cut and paste?
It's true.
Like
It's very true.
that's where it's at now. Carl Martin on my Facebook,
Yeah,
the set guy.
yeah, yeah.
He
Carl.
he says all the time, it's like, well, that's how they do TV now, and I'm like we're just supposed to go, oh, all right, I guess that's just happened. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Like
You can
it's
still
not.
complain about it.
It's for as an I'm just well, he's looking at it from his perspective of
Well, sure.
the guy doing the job, and I'm looking at it from an audience perspective where I'm telling you, I asked for pie and apple
Right,
pie,
right.
and that means you have to put the dough down first, and then some apples, and then dough on top, and then cook it. That's
A
apple pie,
biscuit is not
not
a
like
pie.
this dough and this
Yeah,
apple's like in a jar. Fuck you.
yeah,
And that's what we're getting from Star Trek now.
yeah. No,
I've
seriously,
suddenly
fuck you,
become
Star Trek.
faux angry about it.
Man, fuck Star Trek. You know.
Not McMahon though. Man, that lower deck stuff.
Well, he gets it. I mean, he gets it
I
because they have
started
fun.
watching
It's a
that.
fun adventure show
I started
in Star
watching
Trek.
it again.
Oh boy.
Well, so that's cool if you can.
Yeah,
I don't like cartoons, right?
yeah,
And this is
yeah,
so good, and it's fulfilling. Like, oh, I want some real Star Trek, and
yeah.
I'm not feeling Omega Glory right now, or
Right.
piece of the action, or whatever. That's a good one I like.
That is a good one.
Talk about ridiculous. Not just
Yeah.
parallel Earth. No, here's Chicago in the 30s because we have this Paramount backlog we can use.
And now William Shatner is going to be a pretend mob boss. It's going to be great.
Man, how many times in your life have you said, I hit Krakow, Krakow hits Teppo, Teppo hits me? I say that fucking all the time, and everybody
All the
just thinks
time.
it's some like
Yeah.
thing from the old country that I picked up
Mhm.
from my grandmother or something.
Right. That's funny.
I haven't said it for a while.
There's a
That's
new
why I started.
faction in town. Huh, I love it. It's a great episode.
Oh, hey, Walker had a lacrosse game yesterday,
Yeah.
and they lost in overtime, so there's no shame in that. But against a pretty obviously equal team, but one of his buddies from elementary school was on the other team, and that was awesome.
Nice.
because they knew each other, so they were like feeling like independently. But I know this is true because they talked about it afterwards. Independently felt like they had to prove something
Sure.
to their parents about they're not going to go easy on this guy just because they know him. And
Sure.
there was a lot of like we're up in the crowd going, oh, what's up with that?
Yikes.
They were scrapping, but it
Good.
made it fun to watch
Good.
because they're playing playing good lacrosse, but it was like you have the rivalry of schools usually, but
Yeah.
it's rare that you get rivalry of outside of national sports, I guess.
Right.
I don't know. You're the sports guy.
Well, what are you talking about?
Who fucking knows?
I mean,
I'm just
yeah,
mad
you get,
about
yeah,
this
you get.
Star Trek thing.
They're like, you'll see, like in the NFL, like people who went to college together, they'll go hard against each other, that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah, I
that's
got
what
you.
I'm saying. I just
Yeah,
haven't seen that at the elementary to high
elementary
school
level.
level.
Yeah, that's funny. That's pretty funny.
Ah, thank you. See, that's a great way to get out of that, which happened because you were here.
Right.
And so the first 4.5 minutes, I wouldn't go back and watch that.
Oh yeah,
It's disjointed without you, John.
it's disjointed. Yeah.
It's
Well, that's good to know.
I tell my wife this. I don't know if it's true. It's my personal feeling that it's all the voices in my head because I'm a writer.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm like undiagnosed schizophrenic or something.
Yeah. It's the writer, not the
But
schizophrenia. Yeah.
it's because writing fiction. I tried to explain this to her over the campfire once, which was cool. We were out camping, and it's like in fiction, there's like you set up your establishing shots, right? Where are we? What are we doing? Oh, we're following this guy. This is what he wants. But at every step, you're like, are we following this guy in the crowd, or are we following? Oh, that girl's
Right.
pretty. Ooh, this one's got a red dress. And you have to think of all that while you're writing, right?
Right.
And and if you're good, if you're friends with me, that's how I talk, and it
Yeah.
sometimes gets frustrating to people because I'm off somewhere. So anyway,
No, that would
with
be
you
a good
here, I
t-shirt.
don't do that as much.
That would be a
But
good T-shirt, though. It just says, "I'm just a writer, not schizophrenic." You know, that'd be a good T-shirt.
yeah. Well, most writers I know would not want to call attention to that.
Well, I'm just saying.
Just the writer.
I like you'll read articles on online. Like, I'm a writer. I haven't written anything, but I consider myself a writer.
Yeah.
I know that makes you happy.
Yeah, I've matured on my position on this. If it makes them happy, you got to call yourself something. All I
You
see
got to call yourself something.
all I see when people are doing that, and usually I don't even have a judgment. I'm like, go ahead, shine on, you crazy diamond. But when I do find myself having a judgment, my judgment ends up being, you got to call yourself something, and it just sounds like you and me have a different definition of what the word writer means. So you're using the same syllables. That's awesome. No harm, no foul.
It's true.
But it takes me a while to get there with certain people.
Mostly I'm just talking about myself because I don't write anything anymore, but I'm still like, oh yeah, I'm a writer. Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. There's a thing about there's a thing if you want to start getting real about writing and just presenting your thoughts in a coherent form with marks on paper so others can read it.
One day.
Just the whole process of getting there is what makes you a writer.
Yeah.
And if you have done that, you get to say you're a writer, right?
Sure.
Like I went skydiving once. Am I going to say I jumped out of a plane forever? Yes, right. I am. Did I just do it once? Does it make me a skydiver? Yes.
Would you call yourself a paratrooper, though? If
the country needs me.
That's right. Sign me up.
Right. Do I pick the uniform? I'm good. I'll go out. I can't believe that guy asked for an Apollo suit from the Smithsonian and forgot the parachute. Oh well. Hose Neil's suit out. We'll put it back up on the mantle.
Didn't what's his face? Tom Staver just died. the Apollo 10 astronaut.
Oh man,
Tom Stafford, Ed Stafford, Tom Stafford.
there was a Tom Stafford.
Yeah. He just died. Yeah.
Man, they're starting to go.
I mean, they're old. I hate to say it, but
We need somebody on the moon. Toot sweet.
we need. I like that guy. What the hell's his name? Johnny Kim or something. He's an astronaut right now. He's training to go to the Mars missions, and like he's like a Navy SEAL, and like went to med school, and like is a pilot or something, and like now he's an astronaut. Like he's just been like all these crazy things. And I think he's like my age.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah.
You know, that's the great thing tying it into Masters of the Air. They do kind of an end of Animal House thing to tell you what happened to the real guys.
Good, yeah.
And not just one, but they do 7 characters, right? And everyone is like, okay, he came back, he went to the GI Bill, and now he's a doctor, and then he invented like the heart valve. And then the next guy is like, this guy went to Detroit and became a school janitor, and then ended up a principal 3 years later, and then took over the entire Michigan school district and brought 2 other guys from the show with him. Right?
Nice.
It like literally, and they did that before they turned 28. Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, just watching the end, I'm like, wow, this entire, I hope there's reincarnation, and I hope that I like had some sins that I've redeemed, because this fucking life was a vacation.
Yeah.
And I think most people our age could say that, man.
That's one thing I liked about Masters of Air, the first couple episodes I have seen, is a lot of the characters look young. Or at least younger, because you know we've all seen World War II movies, and it's 40-year-old Tom Hanks as you know a lieutenant who's supposed to be like 23, you know, or whatever. And like I like that where it's like some of the pilots were like they had baby faces. It was like you know they're still actors, but you know you can tell they're in their 20s as opposed to their 30s and 40s.
Yeah, you know? that's consistent across the show. It's cool.
Yeah,
I didn't think of that, but now that you pointed out,
it's just something I liked, because that is something that kind of growing up I had no idea, and then once I started to like figure things out, I was like, oh shit, like this guy's like in his 40s playing like a 22-year-old.
Yeah,
that's weird. Even like Band of Brothers, all those actors look really old, or at least you know 30s, you know. And they're all like privates in the army, so they're like 18, you know. So anyway, it's just like a thing of mine.
I think if I ever thought about that at all, I just figured that everybody looks old in old movies.
Yeah.
So I guess that's just what they're doing. But like that's kind of like a teenage movie goer critic kind of observation. But because I just figured it's always in the back of my mind. It's like I love that movie Logan's Run when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, the book, everybody does this at 21, and it's very clearly a comment, social satire, and you know. Anyway, and they had to change it to 30s for the movie because there's no actors that can carry a movie that were that young or look that young, and much less fill up the, you know. Anyway, so I think just raised myself going, actors, I'm going with it.
Yeah. Well, you're right. 2 things. Like actors definitely look older, or just people in general look older, like baby boomers and up, you know? Well, I think it's a lot of smoking, like bad health and shit, right?
That stuff. Yeah.
But also I think that became a thing for me like during like Afghanistan and Iraq, when it's like, oh, my friends who are 23, they don't look like Tom Hanks, you know, that sort of thing, you know. Anyway, that's all I got.
Okay.
Discovery's getting canceled. I can't wait. I'm gonna watch all of Discovery like multiple times just to boost the ratings, just to be like a big fuck you.
So here's the thing that happened while you were gone. I think. Are you aware that that somebody somewhere was tap dancing so hard, this became an article
Uh-oh.
that uh, Discovery has, the record for longest amount of production, or it's tied with Voyager, depending on when you count it. And everybody who reads that headline goes, "It's got 5 seasons." How? And Voyager had 7. Everybody else has 7 except for Enterprise, and we know what happened there. What the fuck? What? And so
Longest.
it makes you read the article, and they what they did is tease an entire article about the fact that there's a global pandemic in the middle of that, and so technically they're in production, not fucking planet shut down, just so
What?
they get to count to 7 years.
Go fuck
That,
yourself.
dude, rare. It's rare that
7.
I get to an article that's so dumb that I like. I love dumb articles because I'm like,
Sure.
haha, dumb people reinforce my worldview of mankind. But this is so dumb. I feel I get what other people say when they're like, I'm fucking angry I read that. It was like, no, you don't get to do that. Like that spin is so insipid. You've just
So
insulted the planet.
so they're saying that because Discovery started in 2017 and it's now 2024, that counts as 7 years
Yes.
in production.
Yes. That was all production time where
Even though they
episodes were
only
made.
produced like 30 episodes.
But it's not, you don't even, I just looked at that and I got cartoon question marks over my head because I couldn't even say out loud, what? Like, are you got, it's not even apples and oranges, right? Like, I don't even know what you're doing because
That's not math.
there's no, you're just saying they had the same elapsed time.
Yeah.
So what? Like, huh?
Nope. I
Anyway, that was another Star Trek thing that came out as news.
I don't acknowledge that argument.
Hey,
Jesus
Sag isn't around because he's moving.
Christ.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, where's he moving to? What's
Just
his new
staying,
address?
kind of the next town over. I got it if you want.
No,
I'll tell you his old one. It's 132 Delta Street
that's awesome.
in San Francisco, California. Over by there's a high school. Play football at. It's part of a park. You're a town where it's like, I know how to get there. I know what.
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you how to do it.
Yeah.
I could tell you sitting next to you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So like
moved into Daly City.
Where's Daly City?
Like, seriously,
I know nothing about California.
a mile and a half that way.
Oh, okay.
So
right.
you know what San Francisco is, right?
It's
a little peninsula.
City. Yeah, it's got Starfleet headquarters. Yeah.
Okay. If you poke a center hole in the geographic center of the city, go due west until you hit water, that's my house.
Okay.
And so Daly City is like a thumbnail south.
Okay. Nice.
You know what's cool? We just watched Pulp Fiction and did that. Oh, don't be square.
Yeah.
And Walker, he had to pause and we talked about what the 1950s thing that was. But so as you were doing that, making your gesticulations, I was seeing the animated track and I'm like, yeah, okay, he has the right scale. Okay, so if he goes due west, it's going to be about like his thumbnail. Yeah, okay.
Got it.
That was like, you could draw it from if you were AI and, instructed correctly.
Well, if I was AI, I wouldn't have the right number of fingers. So that's a bummer. Yeah, no, I was going to say something. I don't remember.
Can I just shine your shoes some more?
Sure.
I super enjoy talking to you because, like, you're like my one pal that can like take my energy level and be unperturbed about it. Like you're like, hey man, Larry's just my friend that's a little rough seas, but I know what's going on. Nothing's
Larry's
happening.
Larry.
This isn't crazy. We're good. And so then because I know that you're on a different energy level than me. I really try, man. But I see like sometimes you like You get a little excited. I'm like, oh, you know what? John's just the reserved guy. I bet you he's broken some baseball bats in his day.
Oh my God, dude! I punched a wall in my fraternity house, and oh yeah, I used to be a lot more animated in my younger years. With
That's a
alcohol,
great way to say it.
and testosterone. Really,
Yes.
really did me in for a while.
Breakfast of champions.
Yeah, alcohol and testosterone. Yeah, just chugging those low T pills. Uh, this will make the sorority girls like me. No, it's not. It's not what happens. Yeah, but I mean that's a fair point. I did mellow out a lot in my 30s. My birthday was the other day, and I turned Quattro Supreme, as they call it, and so I don't know. It's a whole new thing. I don't know what I'm doing.
Can I share with you a little private moment I had with my wife?
Of course.
I told her that thing like when I sent you that message, I'm like, "Hey, happy birthday!" And you're like, "Yeah, big 40." I literally like to. Are you kidding me? I've known this guy forever.
Yeah,
Like I've been 20 years older than you the whole time.
the
And
whole time.
I just feel
Yeah,
like how did we get to be pals? Like I was treating
oh,
you like you were a lot older than you were when
yeah,
you were a lot younger than
yeah,
I knew.
yeah. I mean, the
Like in the
2008.
most innocent way, everyone.
I was 24 in the 2008 election when Obama got elected.
Oh man.
You know, so
Holy shit.
yeah,
So anyway, like I'm just giving you my real reaction at the time.
yeah,
I'm reliving it. And so I wrote back instantly, like, I'm sorry, I really meant that.
oh,
So Mimi just comes back from work and I tell her a story because it's like hours later. I'm still like, man, can you believe that? Because I'm thinking all Thunderdome shit,
oh
like
yeah,
and and so I tell her again, and she just is laughing in my face, like you shouldn't do to strangers even. Like if anybody else that was laughing in my face at my embarrassment and discomfort and honest regret and embarrassment, I would punch them, right? But I gotta
yeah.
take this for my wife, and I'm like, okay, and I go, look, really, I honestly feel bad about this. It's like just because, yeah. Anyway, for all the
No,
reasons
there's nothing to
you
feel bad
figure.
about. Dude, there's nothing to
No,
feel
no, I
bad
know.
about.
I just,
You know.
I just, I realize why you were like, oh, Larry's always mad at me.
Well, to be
No, I
fair,
love you, man. You're
uh,
hilarious. And like, anyway,
well,
all
and
right.
also you gotta. I mean, also like it's very easy to misunderstand text communication, which is a big issue on the internet, right? Kids today don't have that problem because they just video everything and they stick it on Snapchat. But like millennials and like Gen X, like we're all the texting, and it's very easy to misinterpret things. So
Yeah.
yeah, Larry was always mad at me. I don't know why. I just want to talk about Star Trek, and he's like, "Fuck you, man." I'm like, okay, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't deny it.
Yeah, it
Like, yeah,
happens. What are you gonna
I'll
do?
take credit for it. I don't know why.
You were a
Anyway,
young
so
man.
the end of this story is she made fun of me for a week about that until I
Jesus.
was like, okay, like you get to like Wednesday and it's like, okay, let's see if she goes to Thursday. And then it's Friday and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna have to say something on Sunday, but I'll give her the weekend. And on
Yeah.
Monday morning, I was like, okay, we're not talking about this John thing anymore. And she's trying to sputter, and I'm like, I gave you a week, and I showed her on the calendar, and I spoke
Give you an
her
entire
language.
7 days.
I had an
That's
Excel
funny.
document that I, had
Oh,
into a
yeah,
deck, and she's like, all
nothing
right,
to feel bad about. I mean,
all right. Anyway,
I'm here.
it's not like we ever would go get a beer together, so I set it online. There you
It's
go.
all good.
This has not been a AI presentation of Larry
I
on
don't really
Twitch.
like beer. I never really liked beer.
Huh.
People always think because I'm like Sasquatch size, they're like, "Oh, let's take him to a keg race," and I'm like, "You're gonna lose." Like, I don't
Yeah, I
know what
gotcha.
to tell you. Like, I can't do that. You know?
That's
Can I kill an entire bottle of whiskey? Yes. But that's less productive in a keg race, you know?
right.
So yeah.
That's like taking a cab on the Boston Marathon. Like,
Right.
yeah, you
Right.
won, pal.
Right. I got there
Not the
real
way you're
quick.
supposed to.
I got to the finish line real quick. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah.
Yes, I laughed because I saw people do stuff like that.
So Europe, or at least Scotland or whatever, they don't like giving you ice. Like ice water is not a thing. Ice in your drinks is typically not a thing. I had one bartender just straight up refuse to put ice in my scotch, which was fair. You know,
Well,
fair
that
enough.
I understand.
Yeah, I
What
get
kind of
that one.
heathen are you?
Right. I just needed ice. Like I just needed ice. And so yeah, it's a weird. So when we got back, I just pounded some ice water. You know,
Are they
because
not set up
America
for
loves
it?
ice. America loves ice and hot sauce, and they don't have either of those things in Europe.
Are they just not set up for ice? Like, or do they have it and use it
I don't know.
sparingly? Or
I tried Googling it, and they were just like, "Yeah, they just don't like ice." I'm like, "Oh, all right. I don't know. It's a weird thing." On my
well,
starship, we will have ice. That's all I'm saying.
obviously though, that's a learner behavior sort of thing,
Oh yeah,
right? Because you can tell. I mean, in this, ancient time, nobody had ice until what,
sure.
1930 or whatever, right?
Yeah,
So I get
but
it,
this is America. I mean,
but this is America.
this is America, bro.
The reason we left fucking Europe is so we could get shit like this going.
I mean, George
Fuck
Washington was
you
sitting
and your
around,
fucking warm beer.
and he was just like, "Hey, Martha, I think we should start a new country so we can have all the ice we want." And
My
he
favorite thing,
killed him.
my favorite thing about the colonies is that up in New England, man, you have all those apple orchards everywhere, and
Yeah,
you have to make cider to preserve because you
yeah,
don't have a water source that you can count on to be clean or usable, and
yeah.
nothing grows in the alcohol, so you're good. And John fucking Adams, the second president or whoever, right?
Number dose.
Yeah, that's part of he would kill two ciders with his breakfast,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just what you had for refreshment that day.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God. Yes. Take me back to that time. I don't need
I
ice
mean,
for that,
this is
but
America, man. Like,
this is America. That's what
it's
I'm saying.
America. So yeah, I had a lot of ice and I had a little too much hot sauce, and it's kind of a rough night. But you know,
What's your brand? What's your brand of hot sauce?
oh my god, I
Or
found
are
this.
you one of these I'll eat anything guys?
I mean, I'll try any hot sauce. I'm not like
Sure.
I don't have huge hot sauce balls. Like I'm not gonna go like
No,
crazy.
no.
Ghost pepper. Like fuck off.
I was kind of asking
Um,
like your brand.
yeah, typically I like Texas Pete. That's kind of my
Oh yeah,
go-to.
Texas cheese good.
But there's this I don't know how popular this is, but they sell it around here. It's called Tapatio or something,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Tapatio,
Guy with a
Tapatio. And
sombrero.
it's got this weird like taste, and it's like super like stingy. So that's good. I like that one.
Yeah, barbecue
And I have
sauce
no
is like
taste buds left. So
Oh, you did? You really burned them off?
I mean, we're getting there. We're definitely getting close.
I'm not really a hot sauce guy. I mean, I'll do some sriracha if you got it, I guess,
Yeah.
on certain things. But I'm all about the barbecue,
Oh
and
yeah.
oh my God, the San Francisco's awesome for local homemade barbecues in
Okay.
being sold in chain stores, right? It's
That's interesting.
just they're just repping San Francisco, man.
Yeah.
And especially if
Distribution.
your name is San Francisco Barbecue Sauce Company, it's like they'll give it a shot, right?
We have to.
But
It's in the name, you know.
but there's these two barbecue sauces I'm in love with. One I can't get anymore. It's called Five Monkeys. And when you said it's kind of stingy, I was like, oh my god, I know exactly what
Yeah,
kind of taste sensation you're talking about,
yeah,
because that was Five Monkeys. And then our current favorite, I make baked barbecue chicken for Walker all the time because he's a growing boy. He just baked chicken and barbecue sauce and
yeah.
broccoli. Anyway, I use this thing called Rufus Teague Meta sauce.
Okay.
Like, have you heard of this?
No.
Because it seems to me like it says Rufus Teague on the label. Okay, Rufus Teague,
Yeah. Yeah.
Bob's Bank, same thing. But then underneath it says made a sauce, and I instantly bought it. Like, I don't even care what this tastes like. I didn't even really know what it was. I was just Rufus Teague made a sauce, and Larry Young is purchasing it on the balls alone of that.
Right. Right.
And I get home, and man, that's the best barbecue sauce I've had in a while.
That's awesome.
So, not a paid endorsement, just honest love.
Although we will take paid endorsements.
Another cool. I'm not selling my favorite barbecues.
I will.
When Walker goes to college, maybe.
Yeah.
The other cool thing I should say, they do this awesome thing that their bottle looks like a flask,
Oh,
and it has a like a ceramic screw top instead of a plastic cap, and the adhesive label that they have for their cool ass design just comes right off. Like, you don't have
nice.
to soak it in hot water or anything. So now you have these fucking flask shaped things, and it says really discreetly on the bottom where it has to say like 8 ounces or whatever. On the other side it says Rufus Teague, and I'm like,
Nice.
that's fine, because you know what, Rufus Teague made a bottle too. I love Rufus
Rufus
Teague. And when I get off of this, I'm going to go Wikipedia who Rufus Teague is.
Teague.
That's how good this barbecue sauce is. Anyway.
Well, I think that's a good place to
stop.
call it. Yeah. Rufus Teague made a podcast. And
Anyway.
all right.
And they'll have dozens of people saying, what was Larry talking about? And never think of it again.
Mm-hmm.
So the eyeballs on that.
It's gonna be great.
Through the roof.
It's gonna be great. All right. To wrap
Good
it up,
to you, John.
Discovery sucks and Rufus Teague.